on this movie. Yeah, it's not really clear who murdered Vanessa. So, Vanessa is the girlfriend of Deadpool, and she gets killed at the beginning of the movie. But you think there was someone who sent her or something. And Ryan Reynolds, like, I guess he does say, oh, I killed everyone that was trying to... that sent her. But there's always someone who sent those people, you would think, in these types of movies. But it just sort of ends at that point. He just sort of has to accept and move on, which I guess is a good message, but at the same time, they could have still explained and cut that loose rope a little more, tie off these loose ends and explain this exactly is what happened. This is exactly who is trying to kill her. And just, yeah, because there's always someone who sends the people to go kill. So that's why I thought that he would have tried a little harder to find out who killed her. And it's not really clear who killed her, but still, that's my point, is that he would have tried to find out more. Time travel to save Deadpool is unnecessary because they could have just removed the power collar, which is the collar that takes away his powers so he can die. But it's established that if you just take it off, because it happened in the prison, he has one on, and he gets knocked off a balcony, and the thing gets torn off, and he's all fucked up. It looks like he would be dead, but then the collar's off, so he regenerates his organs and all that. So that's something that definitely didn't make sense to me, because Cable goes back in time just to put this skee ball token on Deadpool so he doesn't die. But I think that's silly. They could have just taken off the fucking thing. And I know that they say, oh yeah, it's they say that it's too hard to take off or something, but they establish they can take it off, and they do take it off later. So they could have just taken it off, and they didn't have to use the time travel juice or whatever. So I think that's unnecessary. They could have just taken off the collar, and he wouldn't have to die. And they say you can't just take off these collars, but it happens twice. They are just taken off twice, so that's not true. That's another joke with the Domino whose power is luck. They're like, what's the code? And she's like 7, and it is just 7 because she's so lucky, right? So I kind of like that element of the movie. Domino's a cool character. But anyways, they brush over Yukio's powers because Yukio is Negasonic Teenage Warhead's girlfriend in this. And they show her like with an electric whip or some shit, but that they don't explain that before. I didn't even realize she had powers. They don't explain that, or they don't show it, hence explaining it, until like the last half hour of the movie. It's like, oh shit, she had powers this whole time. I didn't even know that. They really brush over it, but it's a cool power, the like electric whip thing. I liked it. Doesn't everyone know what dubstep is? Because someone at one point in the movie is like, what the fuck is dubstep? But it's like everyone knows what the fuck dubstep is. And in 2018 too. Like people definitely knew at this point. I feel like I knew about it in 2010. So at this point, I think you would have fucking known what dubstep is. But anyways, I guess it's possible that character would. I think it's Cable who says it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Egg credit stinger. So yeah, there's 2 end credit stingers, sort of. Motherfucking Deadpool uses the time travel device to go, and so we assume that he goes back and he saves his girlfriend. So I'm wondering if she's going to be in the next movie because he goes back, and as soon as the time travel device was introduced, I'm like, oh yeah, he's going to go back. He's going to save his girlfriend and shit. But he also goes back and he shoots himself before he can do the movie Green Lantern. So it's another diss at the movie Green Lantern. But what else in this movie? Yeah, the end credits thing, and Hugh Jackman is in it for a little bit. Hugh Jackman cameo, Green Lantern reference. They're getting all those last minute jokes in the end credit stinger. But yeah, that's the end of my notes. So overall, I gotta say, this movie was fun. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it was pretty close. It did some different things, which I appreciate about sequels, because it's so easy to just fall into the same things. It made the first one's successful, and there's a little bit of that, but I think you have to have a little bit of that. But the plot was so much more different that it really helped separate it from its predecessor. So I like that. Overall, let's give this movie a rating though. So Deadpool 2, I'm going to give it just a little lower than I gave the last one, which was 8 out of 10. I'm going to give this 7.8. I think that's fair. Not a bad movie. Not perfect. I explained in my notes what I think it could have done better. But yeah, Deadpool 2, 7.8 out of 10 dogs.